He'll be.
That's just me pointing at the map for John. Like,
but I normally see 4AM in the center a lot more frequently than I see S2G.
I think for 4AM, I'm just throwing
my
water on the
all
floor.
everywhere.
Look, we said that there's no water here on Miramar, so there's no water in Indonesia now either. It's for you at least. Yeah, I think for 4AM and S2G, I would generally agree with you. I think what you're going off is mainly Erangel overall, because Erangel, 4AM does tend to move a little bit earlier towards the circle. I think what they've been having difficulty with is making those movements, making those rotations, and they're quite speedy with it and aggressive. That is interesting. That is very interesting. And oftentimes it does lead to them getting absolutely demolished by some of these teams within the circle. Alter Ego, though, Fnatic hits the next one. I mean, I was a little bit happy about it on the first, but that is true elation coming through for Alter Ego. Getting the second onto Alpha 7 is a really, really big piece of news. Not only in terms of Alter Ego taking on one of the top 3 teams, but also the fact that Alpha 7 is down to...
ये भी तो नहीं हो रहा। थंब प्लेयर क्या मेरी स्ट्रीम पे आ गए क्या तुम लोग? चलो तो अरे ये क्या हो गया?
Would be the absolute cherry on the cake there for S2G to take it all the way home. Max is back on the desk once again.
What's he got there? He's got goodies.
He's got a special little goodie. Is he going to show them to us? I don't know.
I don't know. We'll find out. What's he got there? What have you got there, Max?
He's got some BTR merch.
We'll find out later.
Repping the old Indonesia. Fair play to him. With that, the BTR merch not only brings Max a lot of happiness, it also brings Alter Ego the center of the circle.
Fantastic to see as, absolutely, that hard west shift coming on through. The Indonesian roster will have to hold off against some pretty fearsome foes, though, as S2G swinging on the north.
Good position. Very difficult spot this is overall to play. There's a lot of space here, which is really inaccessible. Down towards Monte Nuevo on that southeast side, fielded area. The southeast of El Pozo, more fielded area. Last-ditch attempt resorts there on that side of the map. Down towards the south side of Credit Fields, a place that HVP would play very, very often. The S2G would tend to kind of challenge them out on and not really succeed. And it's what would cause them huge amounts of problems. They've tried to get up towards it, but Alter Ego are already on that position now. 4AM loses arguably their front man, their lead here in the PUBG Mobile. No, don't talk about it. Don't even mention it. In the PMGC, Svan going down in match 2. This is a bit of an awkward one for him. And now 4AM have to play just the rest of the instruments here. Try and work it through. Nenebete taking a bunch of damage, but doesn't go down, doesn't fall just yet.
Slides through the staves of Nova. Keeps himself out of treble, keeping with the music theme.
I thought it was good. I liked it.
I liked it too.
Oh, okay.
Vitali doesn't know. He is going to be pretty discordant with that one and ends up reaching the crescendo in the stage 2. The middle of it. That was a stretch. That was a stretch.
That was a stretch. That was a bit of a stretch. Anyway, straight back into the game. Vampire Esports are obviously struggling. We talked to Satani just a little bit earlier, saying that ideally they'd love to be in top 8 by the end of today. I don't know how easy that's going to be for them. There will have to be a real turn-up in performance. The fact that they weren't able to get too many points.
बताओ इसमें ये blue जैसा ये टीम के नाम पे blue जैसा ये आ रहा है, ये किस लिए आ रहा है?
Too many points. Geek Fam.
अच्छा.
Also on our screens at the moment, that's towards that northern side.
ऐसे बताते रहे अगर मेरे को
quite
पता
a bit
नहीं है.
right now. I think Geek Fam were on a pretty hot start for themselves. They looked good. You're dragging themselves out from PMPL, moving up towards PMGC with this core roster.
Comment डाल दिया
करो. Hi, hello. Promising. Fortunately for them, I think there are just a different type of beast in this PMGC as a whole. Nova over towards that eastern side. Influence coming in through San Martin. Stalwart as well in this circle. Alter Ego still holding on to a very strong position with high ground, a very typical position as well. And Inco, dead center. So again, I think we're looking at the Inco game. This is just a case of racking up those rankings, not putting too much attention towards those elimination points. This is not a strategy that will work next year, though. And that's something to consider right now. This is not a strategy that will work next year. The ranking points will be too low, and they're spread out much thinner as we head down the table. So elimination points become all the more important. So I think teams at the moment you're looking at who are prioritizing, you know, getting those high elimination point games, getting those big chicken dinners, these are the teams that will be looking good going into next year.
You know what would be interesting is to take a look at what the points totals would have been if we'd have implemented the points change before this tournament, right? To see how these teams would have fared if we had changed it to that 10-point chicken dinner before, and maybe it could have changed some things up. Maybe I'll have to run those numbers afterwards, Blanca. If anyone out there is watching, they can tweet them at me, and I'll be very grateful for that. But for now, Inco still sit atop the pile with a 10-point lead in match 14. Blank, something else that's very interesting when you take a look at the numbers is the fact that nobody right now has more than a 10-point average. We normally see at least 2 or 3 teams at that point at this stage.
Yeah, what we're seeing at the moment is just a real even split between all these teams. And again, this is what it comes down to. You'll see this happen maybe in PMPLs, regional clashes, or PMWI. But when you really do cut down to the leanest and the meanest of teams here in the PMGC, you are certainly going to see a lobby that maybe isn't able to hit that 10-point average just because there are so many teams winning, there are so many teams that are making the right choices, and it is just a case of if you get the right circle, you have to win within that right circle. And there are a lot of teams at the moment that are getting those right circles and then are converting those right circles into wins. So this might not be a case of, you know, any team particularly being terrible, but just some teams leading ahead by certain games where they don't get the right circle, but they're able to get a 5th place now and again with some eliminations here and there. It's really just chopping away at that points total time and time again and never letting it up. And I think that's what 4AM's been able to do a lot. Alpha 7 has a different approach to that. They're a bit more momentum based. You know, they burst out from nowhere, get some big points, then they fade away just a little bit. They always bring it back. Inco, on the other hand, a ranking points-based team, 100%. A little bit of circle look throughout this tournament. Regardless, they've done a lot with it, and I'd still be happy to see them take the grand title home.
The drums bring the circle to keep Potato in it on the high ground position. Has potential to move in behind that position and wrest control back, but Potato, if he spots that, doesn't want to take the fight, there is a massive opportunity to just jump off with a vehicle, roll over to the rest of the squad, just further south.
You can certainly disengage from this one, down towards the rest of your team. Alpha 7 though, damn rude. From Geek Fam, looking to finish them off, but it's S2G from the wrong way.
Uh-oh, Revo has to evacuate and will be cut down in the process. Alpha 7, 16th place, they're eliminated. Geek Fam stay alive, get to cover, but there are shots coming through from across the road. S2G doing hella damage, having an impact here. And racking up the points where they can. That's one of our top 5 teams out already, Blank.
Alpha 7 certainly having their fadeaway game right now. Not good for them. Only 4 more matches after this one. It's not really a case at this point in time of losing that hope anymore. You're going to have to keep pumping those numbers. If you pump those numbers right at the end of the day, it might not be enough, because by that time a team like Inco or 4AM, S2G might have already built up that consistent average that they're so far ahead. Be a great conclusion to PMGC, but is it likely? No.
Encroaching on the high ground territory on the northwestern side. Force their hand slightly. Rules going down, getting flushed out as well by Alter Ego. really quite big, brings them down to 3, and Influence Kemen can start to move in behind. 4 players alive, and they have really gone for a wide swing here. Potato, if he can just stop DRS from pushing forwards, he can play them off against one another. Influence Kemen, position aware of now. Killer moves in with the auto shotgun, but backs off. Don't want to go for the trades just yet. Federal and Lil Boy close by, and Gianti nearly gets the better end of the deal there. Potato not chiming in just yet. Kajowski is lit up as well, and Influence Kemen's push has some trouble.
Nade around the side, beautiful nade there coming from Giante. Little Boy goes down, fair amount of damage towards Law and Federal. Can't really afford to get the med kits off just yet because there's more nades, more damage coming through that way. Alter Ego Potato might want to get involved on this one. Delta looks forward towards the smoke. Federal all by himself. UMP looks to shoot them through the smoke here. Can't find it. That's Influence Kemen down to 1 player. DRS taking them apart systematically.
Oh dear, they will fall all the way on out. 15th place and no eliminations. That's big news for DRS, picking up 4 elimination points as well. They are 1 point behind Alpha 7 now. How much further can they go? Inco with a challenge. 3 players alive from them after losing 1 early. Nova will be rocking up on them. With 1 player down, they are at a numbers equality. But that res is available on Jimmy.
Nenabelli making some good shots there. I did like them. Just trying to angle them over the top of that ridge side. Hit some soft flesh where he can. Fortunately, not quite enough. But now Inco's in a pretty tight spot.
Over on the east side with the backstop. Potato still holding on the high ground. 4 Angry Men further out west and will need to push on in. 4 Angry Men probably with the toughest time of the teams at the top right now, Blank. Alpha 7 having already gone out. So I suppose the time is tougher for them, but of the teams still in it of that top 5, 4 Angry Men with it all to do on this rotation.
We said S2G is one of the best teams here on Miramar. And towards the center they are right now, a really strong spot. Helping Geek Fam take down Alpha 7. During that initial push, it will be hard to remove them from this compound. 4 AM, like you said, tough rotation ahead. Over some rocky terrain towards Alter Ego's position. Potato over on Sandhawk, we saw how effective his high ground position was. Stalwart will send a grenade to the top towards Nova. Frozen already falling. Looks like a nade is in the hand and the pocket of Nova themselves. Try to send one back to push action away, but Pika ready with one of his own. It looks good as well.
Oh, it's right on the money. Jimmy goes down. Frozen has a teammate now to join him. Action backed off the hillside, and that is the backup that you want. It's Paraboy from a position further up. Order launches one over. Frozen needing to get res now, and Action burning down low. The nades don't burst on target as Paraboy rolls in for the backup. Inco looking to put pressure on now as they take their approach. Top up in the party bus. Smoke blooms over on the godlike stalwart position, and that fight is just about to start heating up. Nova caught in the middle of it, but they are all together. They are all as 4 on the eastern side of the circle.
Not much hope at 4 AM there. We saw them in a dire situation. More nades still popping their way. Sky only comes up. Good Xiao cannot finish it off, and Ching Chen still going for the heel. Pushes out wide, tries to go for the finish. Will find at least one, but I think Kengzo might just be able to finish this. Possibly, maybe not.
Needs the reload. Ching Chen spotted, and there they go. 4 Angry Men fall, and now 2 of our top 5 teams are out of this game. DRS still moving in. S2G, Inco, all still with the fight. In the meantime, over on the eastern side, Nova are fighting for their lives, caught between godlike Stalwart to their north and Inco to their south. Nade over to the back, found Pika. Order doesn't go down quite yet. The second peak from top is good, but it's traded off by Jimmy with the micro Uzi at range. Action now last standing in the engagement for godlike Stalwart. Scry down to the north a lot further. The nades can start to pour in, but instead Nova just want to stay alive as 4 on the eastern edge.
This is ridiculous for Nova at the moment. Almost feels like they picked up a rainbow mushroom there, because they are pretty invincible over on that side, taking that fight not only towards Stalwart, but also towards Inco. Alex though, what a disgusting spray coming through. Finds at least 2. IHC really struggling. But Ravenclaw, last alive for Vampire, tries to finish off the fight. 1v1 available.
Ziol, last standing, a sliver of HP, first aid allowed, but the res coming through potentially from Ravenclaw. Fluke will be the target. And the res is coming through from both of these rosters. Nova, in the meantime, are still all alive. Looking to try and keep themselves going. Ravenclaw around the edge, has got a teammate back in, and Ziol falls. IHC eliminated, and Vampire stay alive. Jimmy, order, transferred on by Top as we hop back on over to the eastern edge. Paraboy with the off angle, not quite able to slow down Godlike Stalwart. Frozen, the only player holding now on the main position from Nova. They'll have to go a little bit further into the circle. A flush onto one for Top, and Paraboy starts to light it up. No punishment found, no knock in response, but a lot of damage, and there's a beautiful knock coming through from Action over the top of the smoke. Two players up top to deal with now, Order and Frozen, both in action. Top not going to take the knock just yet. There's the first spray, and Action is good for more. He takes down Paraboy, he moves up, and he takes down the rest of Nova as well.
The roughest of positions there. But the boys, the deadly duo, still go strong. They make it happen. Not even Nova can bring this duo down. But look at S2G in a veritable fortress of their own inside this map. Still trucking. Inco in the game too. Down to 9 teams remaining. 26 players. A lot of teams. A few players still left alive. Fireflux with 4 though. Alter Ego still going strong, looking over towards DRS's position on the north.
Alter Ego have Potato on the high ground. Inco swings wide and does what Nova could not. Becker has been put back just a little bit. Potential to get flushed here. Nenebete close by. Don't really want to step out that nade. Oh my goodness me. Catches the sliver and catches the sliver of HP on Becker for Nenebete. They want to stick this heal. They want to stick this res. Going down to 2 wouldn't be the greatest right now with a little bit more to go, but unfortunately they don't have a choice in the matter.
Nenebete gets knocked. Action looks to steal.
Oh dear.
4 eliminations now to 5. Great stuff. Now just squash remaining. Inco, 0 eliminations on this game. Going down in 8th. It's a few points. It's not a lot.
Alter Ego, they have been dominant on this northwestern side. DRS now losing another player down to 2 against the hold from Potato. Action falls and Godlike Stalwart with them. Inco also taking the knee. And no more will they fight on. DRS and S2G now are 2 remaining teams in the top 5.
Fireflux, 9 eliminations. Really strong game from them. And again, not too far away from 6th place, well 7th place realistically, with 72 points and 9 eliminations on board. 6 teams remaining. I mean, sure, it might not be a top 3 moment, but Fireflux might just be able to reinstate their name as one of the top contenders through this single one. Have to make something big out of it. Alter Ego still in. You can hear the crowd behind us cheering them on. See how far they can go with this.
They've already got 8 eliminations and 4 players alive, with Potato on such a massive, powerful high ground. DRS not taking it from them. The 8 elimination count will be crucial. They want to launch themselves from the bottom of the tables, but Calci from S2G, this is a team that has power on Miramar all their own.
S2G, again, compound still, and this is why the compound's very strong, especially when you know circles ending around here. It's such a large compound that no matter where the circle shrinks to, a little bit should still just be about in that you can play from. Though leaving this area will be difficult for S2G, so I hope they brought vehicles with them. DRS playing around the shadow that Potato creates. Some good nades from S2G, honestly. Vampire finding it very difficult to find any kind of respite on that area, on that side.
Reposition up to the top floor from Hamzy. Spots Lutz trying to flow down the hill and will be able to get the spray. Hamzy lighting one up, and Solus actually under pressure as well. Razy spots a player over towards Alter Ego, knocks Potato up the top of the hill. Unfortunately, that would be a really, really valuable pick, but the blue zone will push them out nonetheless. These shots are going to be so crucial. Keeping that K9 in the hands of Razy could prove to be a game changer as Silas sits Pondbit back.
I think realistically, a lot of these teams just have to wait right now. Fnatic finds Ravenclaw. That's another one. 9 eliminations so far. Fnatic, an absolute roll at the moment. 7 eliminations, all is lonesome for him. Razy, this K9, disgusting weapon. I think for Alter Ego, patience is the name of the game. S2G's life is going to become hellish when they have to leave this compound. I think they realize they need some more points, so going for these eliminations, risky, but also rewarding.
They don't have many options, and Ponbit will look to start the scout. They have to move
bold
up to the ridge line. Razy looses another bullet. Silas as well with angles over towards Fireflux, who are split right now and burning the candle at both ends.
To be fair, this ridge side, well, this little ditch that Alter Ego is able to play underneath the road, actually fairly decent. Getting Ponbit down there immediately whilst the other team is probably thinking about rotating. That's fantastic.
Oh, I don't even think Kelsey knew there was a player there. He was just shooting out towards a buggy. Saw the tag and went, oh, okay, I'll pick that one up. S2G, 4 players alive and still going strong. Ponbit being the forward guard for Alter Ego, the other 4-player roster.
Sending smokes down the train now, allowing the rest of Alter Ego to move up, move through, some high ground potentially. Circle moves a bit further away from S2G. That is absolutely disastrous for Alter Ego. At this point in time, they needed no casualties coming through. Getting up towards that high ground position was fantastic for them. S2G will have to move on the next zone, but Alter Ego, they need to play their cards right now. They need to be calm, they need to be patient, they need to breathe this one out.
Like a spotted Silas, picking up points for the squad. Snipes last for Geek Fam, a team that we haven't seen too much of. And S2G need to do the work now, Blank.
And it has to happen now, purely because of the open ground in front of them. With one player already taken down, taken low off of Hamzy G. Potato, a nade over the top, a good lob. Fnatic still on knee, looks to be picked up. Potato has provided them a little bit of support. And outside the play zone go down DRS.
10 eliminations now on the board for Alter Ego in the final zone. Shots over towards the high ground there from Silas, but S2G are going to have to leave into the sight lines of everybody else looking their way. Fnatic gets knocked. There's a crossfire established, but out go the smokes and out go the vehicles. S2G with a fast crash across the road. Razy goes down, opened up on as well. The rest of Alter Ego looking to finish it here and now. Silas is cut out of the fray, and now the players at the back are all they have left. S2G are gone. It's only Geek Fam. The reses are available, and 4 players from Alter Ego, a high ground position, and that's all they need. Alter Ego take it home. A massive, massive chicken dinner. Make that 2.
What a way to finish that one out. 2 chicken dinners at the PMGC 2022. An unreal result. They are giving it out in droves for the crowds, this PMGC. Really taking it all the way. What a good crossfire they set up as well for that end game. They knew that S2G might have had their number if they were given a single place to look, so they do not do it. It requires gumption and determination and a little bit of ballsiness, to be quite honest with you, to make those plays, to make those movements. But they knew what they had to do to set up for the win, and they just went for it. That is just a case of, like, everything has to go right. If it doesn't, we don't take this chicken dinner. But Alter Ego, they just do not let it up. Really big chicken dinner there for them as well. We'll get them a whole hunk of points. That should see them towards the top end of the lobby, towards that top 8.
Fnatic got the MVP title there, but I feel like Potato was so pivotal for them. Stopped 2 teams on the northern side from moving on in. Influence came in and DRS, forced DRS around the side instead of the high ground.
I mean, for Potato, we've seen it twice now. You give him high ground, he'll work with it. That is just the way it works. I think that he prefers to be up in the clouds. You know, that lack of oxygen gives him a sense of calm and concentration, which is great to see. I like to kind of watch that. I like Alter Ego when they have this particular play style they like to move from. But again, a very, very strong position. It's quite difficult to hold on that position as well for a long time. They had several spots they were holding in the beginning as well, up towards that compound, up towards the field. They moved from there. They still decided where they wanted to go next. They knew they couldn't take those fights with S2G, so they just quietly trying to finish off, conclude some of these fights around the actual battlefield before waiting for S2G, knowing that at some point they would have to leave, and it's just bare ground for S2G. They knew they had to get as much done as possible, and I do think it's a slight mistake on S2G's part. They were far too focused over towards Vampire Esports, when realistically they should have 100% had angles over towards Alter Ego as soon as that Zone 8 came through, because they would have to move. They had to make a rotation.
With that game, that puts DRS and S2G